Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to all my viewers anywhere you are. This is another series in our noble lectures under communication and national development. Here today I shall be talking on the title Techniques and Strategies of Development Communication. Students are to understand the dynamics of development and the processes involved in communication to achieving the desired developments. Here I will be discussing on the communication strategies used in developed countries to garner all-round developments. These communication strategies involve so many gadgets that start from the telecommunication masts, internet orbits, and mast in the space that interconnects all social media and mass media of old, which are still operational today. This diagram portrays some of these gadgets. You can see WeChat, we see WhatsApp, palm charts, camera, videos, music, radio and television are not excluded, and so on and so forth. This is the illustration given to what we call communication. Advanced knowledge of modern communication, however, shows an active interconnectedness among all the channels of communications. If any meaningful success will ever be recorded today, as you can see in the figure 1.1 above. If communication is to make its effective impact on national development, appropriate tools and methods must be adopted. It is important to know that tools required to communicate in urban areas may not be appropriate to get a message across to rural populace. This section, therefore, briefly explores the available media guidelines that could help in using communication for development purposes. Techniques and strategies of communication. There are several techniques and strategies of communication employed all over the world, especially in developed countries, which had helped such countries to develop infrastructurally. When we are talking of infrastructure, it encompasses all-round developments, which makes such society to look good and where everything works for the good of the people dwelling there. So such techniques and strategies are many, depending on what is affordable in each location or domain. But I am bringing these 6 on your screen for the purpose of this video to demonstrate that when all of these are employed, development of infrastructures is not far from such community or nation. Number 1 is availability of communication infrastructures. Due consideration must be given to the kind of infrastructure available when one is choosing the media channel to explore. The type of message we are disseminating should determine the type of media that we are using. It will be irrelevant, therefore, to talk of television or internet-based communication as a medium of communication in the rural area where there is no facilities to support such media, or there is no electricity. Electricity may be very necessary for television in an area, even though it may not be required in another area. But when you are to use electricity or television, one has to be sure that all are available. Number 2, the nature and the need of the targeted audience. It is equally important to find out the needs, feelers, or feelings, interests, and aspirations of the targeted audience to ensure that what you are bringing to them as information or communication will be within their felt needs. This means the media practitioner must take the pain to acquaint himself with the people to afford him to be able to study such, especially the rural ones. Such audiences will place the communicator in better position to receive what they are bringing as their message. Number 3, selecting an appropriate media. It is equally important and very essential to adopt appropriate channel for the purpose of development communication. In most cases, it is always recommended that media mix should be adopted. Media mix involves both the traditional and the modern means of communication. Everybody understands that when we are talking about communication about 20-25 years ago, we will major only on radio and television, and although we can add telephone. But today, media mix are transcended all that, as we have social media that takes prominent role in communication. These include group communication, gongs, town crier, drums, festival, as well as social media like I said earlier. Some of the traditional communication vehicles include group communication, market women association, oral tradition, and theater practices. Modern media, however, include radio, television, books, newspaper, magazine, cartoons, as well as internet-based communication. To be able to mobilize people for development purposes, it is important that the content of the message used by modern media should create awareness and empower them to take active part in development programs and projects. Such could be disseminated through electronic media like cinema, home video, and television programs, while print media can transmit development programs in form of regular column and feature articles. Number 4. Passing across relevant information or messages. This is equally important irrespective of the media through which information will be disseminated. It is important to stress that credible messages that enhance the self-worth of people are promoted and given due attention by media practitioners. This means television houses and radio stations should air programs and informational messages that will give credibility to the speaker and the station itself. Messages that would stimulate people for development purposes should be disseminated either at rural or urban centers. Number 5. Adoption of appropriate language. Adoption of proper language in disseminating our message is very, very crucial to effective communication in terms of development. In other words, development messages become unattractive and may remain ineffective except appropriate language is adopted. Persuasive language or message of conviction with language simply and understandably conveying the message is quite important. For instance, when women are the target audience of our message, linguistic stereotypes or sexist language should be avoided. Instead, gender-neutral terms such as chairperson instead of chairlady or chairwoman, police officer instead of policewoman should be employed. This gives women a sense of belonging and thus guide against gender discrimination, and therefore makes our communication effective, and it gingers development of what we need to bring forth in our target audience. Number 6. Accommodation of participatory approach. By this, I mean audience should be involved in the communication process. When you communicate to people without a feedback or without participatory approach, you are not likely to attain ultimate success. Participatory approach should also be adopted in any field of communication. This is to afford the beneficiary the opportunity of contributing to the decision on the project at hand. In a situation where, for instance, the program is on agricultural development, the activities of the farmers should not be relayed. They should be active participants instead. For example, by interviewing the farmers on their farm, or taking comments and asking them for advice on how to improve food production or arable seedling. They are liable to come out of their shell and give you full information that you may not even have come across by yourself. Such participatory approach makes the job of development journalist or development communicator easier and more effective. Government media activities and techniques. Government at various levels are making sure their activities are known to the populace, often by making use of relevant mass media. Government at various levels often enlist the support of mass media and even set up various communication machinery to propagate their activities through various techniques, as mentioned earlier. Any serious government relies on feedback from the people to further enhance its responsibilities, as feedback is an essential part of elements in communication. Essentially, there are 5 major purposes which government media activities and techniques take care of. These are: popularization purpose. This is to relay government activities to the people or to be made known to the people at various levels. Government activities such as educational, health, security, etc. make government become popular and are relayed in government cycle and mass media at intervals. Purpose of mobilization. Not only will government activities be made known to the people, government needs the support of the people if it is to succeed in the execution of its various programs. Towards this direction, people need to be conscientized to support government for such various developmental activities. Compliance to norms. Government also enroll the use of mass media to make sure that civil servants comply on certain norms and standards, such as norm of transparency, due process, accountability, efficiency, and so on and so forth. Number 4. Purpose of incorporation. In this part of the world where good governance is rare, government cannot afford not to enlist or incorporate the support of mass media in propagating ideas of good governance, so as to be seen to be responsive to the people's need. Number 5. Medium for feedback. Government activities or achievement can rightly be assessed by the people who are the direct beneficiaries. It is therefore important to create a medium of feedback from the governed. This can be achieved through the various mass media. Number 6. Purpose of broadcasting. Government functionaries and other national leaders are dependent on the mass media for press releases, e.g., on radio, on television, broadcast as well as internet. Number 7. Reports. Most annual reports by ministries and parastatals of government are put on air via mass media. Number 8. Debates and interviews. Political interviews and debates, either live or recorded by politicians and policymakers on activities of government, are also pushed to the public domain through the use of mass media. The last but not the least, public notice. Notice boards or billboard of ministry, parastatals, government program, and also local government activities are a form of media. We come across all these every day in our to and fro activities, but we never attribute the significance of mass media to them. Thanks for listening and viewing. God bless you. See you in a later video.